Hey guys, we are back here with the practice of past paper questions related to the topic of kinetic particle theory, separation and purification techniques, paper chromatography. So, right now there is a question in front of me. A titration method can be used to make soluble salts. Okay, so what's the next question? A student does an experiment to prepare a pure sample of sodium chloride. Now, what is the formula of sodium chloride? NaCl. Okay, part of the method is shown in the diagram. So here we are not going to prepare sodium chloride, rather just look into the question what they are asking regarding your syllabus currently. You can see this thing that this apparatus is called as measuring cylinder. Measuring cylinder. This apparatus is called as conical flask. This information should be in your mind very clearly. This is called a beaker. This is filter funnel. Apparatus A is a burette. You can see a controlling tap at the end. And then they are asking some questions here. In step number 1, the student uses a measuring cylinder to add 25 centimeter cube of aqueous sodium hydroxide to the conical flask. Now, before moving ahead, I would like all of you to know the formula of sodium hydroxide, NaOH, N capital, A as a small a, you may say small letter A, and then O capital letter, and then H a capital letter, okay? Because Na representative of sodium, oxygen and hydrogen combination is making sodium hydroxide. All right, now state how the accuracy of the experiment could be improved in step number 1. Okay, so by using a pipette, by using a pipette. Okay, a pipette is an apparatus with a comparatively narrow column. Narrow is the column, better is the accuracy. And whenever examiner is asking to measure 25 centimeter cube, remember this thing that pipette is the best apparatus for measuring 25 centimeter cube. It has only one mark at the top above the bulb of the pipette, which can tell you accurate perfect measurement of 25 centimeter cube. Okay, describe what the student does in step number 2 of the method. Okay, so include the name of the apparatus A and B. He filled the burette with the help of a filter funnel, and from the beaker the solution is shifted to the burette. Okay, so here in step number 2, just the burette is filled. Okay, and we have to tell what is burette, we have to fill what is filter funnel, we have to mention beaker as well. Okay, if examiner is asking about beaker and burette, for example, and he is not asking about filter funnel, but you should mention filter funnel as well very clearly. It is important to mention filter funnel very clearly. Done. Okay, so this was the detail related to this paper. Now I'm changing the board, and this is another question. A student oxidizes a sample of ethanol. So in the previous question, a student was preparing a sample of sodium chloride. Here, a student is oxidizing a sample of ethanol. How to prepare sodium chloride is currently not part of your syllabus. How to oxidize a sample of ethanol is also not part of your syllabus. In the previous question, our concern was related to the apparatuses and their uses. Here again, we are focused, we are fixed with the different types of the apparatuses. Okay, so name the 3 pieces of apparatus. So it is P, it is called condenser. A perfect name will be Liebig condenser. Condenser. And then Q is the boiling flask. Why boiling flask? The round bottom flask is also called as boiling flask. You may write both of the names. Boiling flask slash round bottom flask. And what about R here? It is called filter funnel. It is good to write filter funnel instead of a funnel only. Okay. filter funnel. Then there is another question. The student transfers 25 centimeter cube of ethanol into apparatus cube. Whenever 25 centimeter cube, it means the apparatus will be pipette. It is very, very clear. Okay. Adds an oxidizing agent, assembles the apparatus as shown. Okay, done. Okay. So here he has used this pipette wala thing. Okay. So this is now P and Q are adjusted with each other. Heats apparatus Q gently. Heats apparatus Q gently until all the oxidizing agent has changed the color. So how it is changing the color? What is happening? It is not part of your syllabus currently. We will discuss it when I will teach you the chapter of redox, inshallah, and when we are going to discuss the oxidation of alcohols in the topic of organic chemistry, inshallah. Name a suitable piece of apparatus to measure 25 centimeter cube of ethanol. It is the same story which I have told you in the previous question, that whenever examiner is asking to measure exact 25 centimeter cube, student should know this thing, that apparatus used for 25 centimeter cube will be always a pipette. Okay. Name a suitable oxidizing agent is currently not part of your syllabus. State the color changes which are seen here in the oxidizing agent is also not part of your syllabus. Suggest a reason for placing apparatus P vertical is also not part of your syllabus. Okay. But one thing which I can tell you about vertical is that whenever the condenser, we have already studied on the previous page that P is called the condenser. Whenever condenser is placed like this is called the vertical position of the condenser. The other condenser was used in this position, and that was used for the process of distillation. Recall that. Okay. So this was not the vertical condenser. Rather, this is a vertical condenser. Whenever a condenser is like this, the purpose of this vertical condenser is to send back into the reaction flask the unreactive substances, sent back into the reaction flask. Okay. So for example, a chemical reaction is happening over here. This condenser wants to shift only that this condenser is used basically to shift only the reacted substances, only the product. Okay. So this condenser is basically for that purpose. But here, for example, if we are using this condenser, then this vertical condenser is particularly used for the purpose so that the unreacted substances may remain, maybe we may send them back to Q so that they may react completely. Okay. So this is the purpose of the vertical condenser. Right now we are on the next page. After all the oxidizing agent reacts, apparatus Q contains a mixture of ethanol, water, and product of the oxidation. Name the product of oxidation. Right now, this is also not part of your syllabus, but I can tell it to you that whenever an alcohol is undergoing oxidation, it is producing a carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid. Okay. It is also pronounced as carboxylic acid. Name the process used to separate the three liquids. Now this is part of your syllabus. It is called as fractional distillation. It is called fractional distillation. Whenever examiner is asking you to separate the liquids from each other, or the gases from each other, or substances like water and alcohol from each other, it is always fractional distillation. Why it is so? Fractional distillation is used to separate the substances which have a very close boiling points and are 100% soluble into each other. State why this process is suitable. You should refer to the physical property of the liquids, the same physical property which I have just mentioned. So here you should say fractional distillation is giving 100% separation to those substances which have close boiling point values. So here examiner is asking from you to mention the physical property. Be aware of this fact. Okay. Next question is related to kinetic particle theory, and it is a sealed container. They are talking about a sealed container here. Use the ideas of kinetic theory to explain the following. A sealed container contains nitrogen. The pressure of gas is due to molecules of gas hitting the walls of the container. Explain why the pressure inside the container increases when the temperature is increasing. I have taught it to you already that temperature is directly proportional to volume. It means that when temperature will be increased, kinetic energy of the particles will be increased. As a result, volume will be increased. And we are right now describing that why the pressure inside the container is increasing when temperature will be increased. If temperature will be increased, particles will gain kinetic energy. They will hit the walls of the container with a higher force, with more frequency, you may say, and they are hitting each other with more frequency, due to which the pressure will be increased. The pressure inside the container will be increased. Right now, you should know this thing, that pressure is equal to force per unit area. So when there will be more force per unit area, there will be more pressure. All right. So this is all for today. Right now, I have finished question number A, B part. I'm going to start from question number B, question number 1, B part 2 in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Take care.